'Tis the season for those irresistible ginger thins, cozy blankets for cuddling by the fire, and making home warm and welcoming. For one-stop holiday shopping, visit your local IKEA or ikea-usa.com/holiday.
Welcome back, gamers, to Budget Arcade, your number one free-to-play video game review podcast in the world. I'm contractually obligated to say that, even though it's likely true. So, welcome back. I'm your host, Mark, and in these off weeks, and by we, I mean me, I take you through some video game news, maybe a review or two. Typically, I talk about what's coming up on the video game release calendar, and then what I've been playing. And this week, we're gonna touch on the recently unveiled movie trailer for the video game adaptation Uncharted. Then we'll talk about what's coming on the calendar for November. November is typically a big release month for video games, so we'll take a look at that and see what's coming up. And then I'll tell you what I've been playing. It's pretty good, but so first we'll get to the Uncharted movie trailer. And the Uncharted movie is directed by Ruben Fleischer, which you may know him from other movies such as Zombieland, Gangster Squad, and the first Venom movie. And he also followed that up with Zombieland Double Tap. The movie stars Tom Holland as the titular character Nathan Drake, Mark Wahlberg as Victor Sullivan, aka Sully, if you've played the Uncharted games, Antonio Banderas as an unnamed villain, according to the IMDb. But yeah, he is for sure playing the big bad. And Tati Gabrielle also is from the trailer, looks to be playing a lesser bad guy. We also have Sophia Ali playing Chloe Fraser. So let's talk about this trailer. And this Uncharted movie has been trying to happen for probably a decade plus. I mean, we're going back to the late 2000s when Sony first announced that they were trying to make an Uncharted movie based off of the video games. And originally, lo and behold, old Mark Wahlberg was attached to play Nathan Drake. And so years and years go by, and I guess Wahlberg's schedule could never match up with Sony's timeline, and Sony apparently really wanted Mark Wahlberg to be in this film in some capacity. I mean, it's no secret that they wanted him to star in it. Mark Wahlberg is a very big star in Hollywood, very bankable. He's carried many of lesser known movies or movies with a smaller budget to big success. The most recent being the Ted films, where he's essentially acting next to a CGI. Well, I mean, not essentially, but he is acting next to a CGI bear. So Sony, their timelines never matched up. Then Spider-Man. Tom Holland was cast as Spider-Man in the mid 2000s, or I'm sorry, the 20 teens. And once Tom Holland cemented himself as an up and coming star, which he is. I mean, he's not up and coming anymore. He's pretty much a star now. Sony pivoted. They pivoted towards having him star in the Uncharted film, and then it was announced that Mark Wahlberg would play the character of Sully, and video game fans of the Uncharted series were up in arms over both of these decisions, is because Tom Holland is, I don't know, how old is Tom Holland? He's young, early 20s. He's he's born in 96, so he's mid 20s. Oh, he's almost 30. He's older than I thought he was. Anyways, so he plays he's going to be playing a young Nathan Drake with Mark Wahlberg as Sully, essentially a mentor, and they're both in search of treasure. But here's my problem with the casting choices and the directing choice, or their directing choice, and essentially the trailer as a whole, is that the trailer doesn't really show much. It's just a bunch of action set pieces to draw you in. But Nathan Drake, the character, is wisecracking. He's somebody that rips some jokes, but he's also somebody that is very adept to, how do I want to describe Nathan Drake? He's very capable. When we're first introduced to him, he's very capable already. This movie is essentially an origin story for the character of Nathan Drake. And so Sully is young, Nathan Drake is young. The whole thing is just origin story. And I don't really feel like we need an origin story for this character. I mean, he's essentially a more hard-edge Indiana Jones. He's got his demons and his problems, and his moral compass is a little bit all over the place. But he's a good guy. He's likable. Tom Holland's likable. Mark Wahlberg's likable. But here's my problem. Ruben Fleischer, the director, he is a very mixed bag when you talk about his previous films. Zombieland was his first feature-length movie, and he hit it out of the park. He had very good actors in that movie to kind of carry it through, but the directing choices he made in that movie were very good. So then he followed up with 30 Minutes or Less, starring Jesse Eisenberg and Danny McBride, and that is not very good. It's an R-rated comedy, but it's not very good. Then he moved to Gangster Squad, the Josh Brolin, Ryan Gosling, Emma Stone, shoot 'em up gangster movie. Sean Penn's in it too. It's also not that great, but it's R-rated, so he has a thing. Zombieland R-rated, 30 Minutes or Less R-rated, Gangster Squad R-rated. Then he moves to Venom, which wasn't great. It was not good, but it made a ton of money for Sony. And that was his first PG-13 film. And a character like Venom probably should get an R rating for their movies, and that's the same with the sequel. But Ruben Fleischer, I just felt he was in over his head a little bit with, big budget CGI and all this. But it made Sony a bunch of money. So Sony taps him to direct the Uncharted movie and gives him a huge budget. And so Sony is bringing Ruben Fleischer, who is he's a staple for Sony. Sony, I believe, owns the the movie rights to Zombieland, and Tom Holland, who is also a Sony staple and will continue to be. So they're allowing their in-house director and actor to carry this movie, but the prevailing thought behind this trailer is that there's not a ton of jokes. Mark Wahlberg, I mean, he looks like he's being wasted in the trailer. He's wisecracking. Let him wisecrack his way to shooting people. Let Tom Holland wisecrack his way into learning how to be a treasure hunter. Don't try to reinvent the wheel here. And I feel like this trailer showcases Sony maybe going a bit too far with what they think audiences want from a Uncharted film. Now, obviously, this is meant to be the start of a franchise. So if it is successful, and there's no reason to think that this movie wouldn't make money, although I just don't think it'll be very good, unless Ruben Fleischer just completely does a 180 and allows Tom Holland and Mark Wahlberg to carry the movie. And Antonio Banderas as a bad guy is a pretty good choice. I love him. He's great. But it just feels like it's not going to be great, and the trailer doesn't make it look good. And there's a lot of shots that from the trailer that happen like shot for shot in the video game, and so that's cool. It's it's a throwback, but I just question why. Why did we need an origin story for Nathan Drake? You still have a franchise with Nathan Drake and Uncharted.
What you want is sometimes far from what you get. At Harry Ritchie's, we want you to get the heart-stopping, high-fiving diamond gift you want and pay for it the way you want. Our in-house financing lets you make payments that fit your budget and your life. Plus, at Harry Ritchie's, our jewelry is priced at an everyday, real price. That means you get all of the dazzle with none of the haggling. More boom for your buck. Now open at Clackamas Promenade. Harry Ritchie's, truly you.
You should be saving for the future, but savings accounts suck, and investing can be scary. We combine the ease of savings with the real returns of investing. We call it Save Vesting, and it's only available in our new app, Stairs. Stairs offers 4 to 6% returns, no fees, and you can withdraw anytime. Do your future a favor. Visit stairsapp.com today.
But we don't need his origin story. And so, unless this movie is going to tell a story we haven't seen in the video games yet, which then I might be on board, is because I feel like there is some untold stories that could happen from Nathan Drake and Sully that would be exciting. But so the movie's out in February 2022, so we're going to get another trailer for this movie, and then we're going to see Tom Holland again in Spider-Man No Way Home in December, and so Sony's banking on audiences wanting more Tom Holland by February, and I don't see why that wouldn't be the case. Tom Holland is a very likable actor. He's extremely likable as Peter Parker and Spider-Man. So there's a ton of hope that Sony has in Tom Holland, that he will carry this Uncharted movie to box office success. So we'll see, but be on the lookout for another new trailer, probably around December time. You'll probably get a new trailer for Uncharted before Spider-Man No Way Home releases, or if you go see it in the theaters, it'll probably be before the movie, and that would make sense. But movie's out in February 2022. So let's talk about some of what's coming up in the video game release world for November. And we got Bloodshore, which is a multi-platform. I think it's a third-person shooter. It's developed by Wales Interactive. I've actually never heard of it before. But it comes out November 3rd on all your consoles, PC and mobile. We got Just Dance 2022 on November 4th on all your consoles. We have Call of Duty Vanguard, which is the next Call of Duty game that releases on everything on November 5th. So that's likely to be your huge one of your huge releases for the month. Then we got Forza Horizon 5 on the Xbox Series XS, the Xbox One, and the PC on November 9th. And the Rockstar is releasing the Grand Theft Auto, the Trilogy, the Definitive Edition on all of your consoles and the PC on November 11th. Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic hits the Switch on November 11th. We got another re-release happening for the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim Special Edition happening on November 11th. That comes to the PS5 and the Xbox Series X and S. That game will forever be. It's like Grand Theft Auto 5. It never dies. What else we got? We got Blood Rain and Blood Rain 2 Revamped. Those are hitting older consoles, the PS4, the Xbox One, and the Switch on November 18th. Battlefield 2042 hits your consoles and the PC on November 19th. That's a direct competitor for Call of Duty Vanguard. We'll see which one. Is the better of the two. And then Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Pokemon Shining Pearl hit the Switch on November 19th, and those are highly anticipated there. Final Fantasy 14 Endwalker hits the PS5, the PS4, the PC, and the Mac on November 23rd. And Evil Genius 2 World Domination hits the PlayStation 5, the Xbox consoles, PS4 on November 30th. So we got some good games coming for the month of November. Let us know what you've been playing. I think I'll probably try. Pokemon will be my first game I play that month, likely. I'm just not a big shooter, like multiplayer shooter fan, which is Vanguard in 2042. But let's talk about what I've been playing. So I've been playing just one game for the past 2 weeks, and it's Far Cry 6. And if you've ever played a Far Cry game, it's like riding a bike. It's a blast. Gunplay is great. Exploration is awesome. Vehicles are all over the place. And the story is kind of off the wall. And for Far Cry 6, it takes place in a fictional country by the name of Yara. And it's meant to be equatable to Cuba. You have what's his name? You have Giancarlo Esposito, who plays the big bad Anton Castillo, who is a dictator of this country, and you get to choose whether you play as either a male or a female character, and your character's name is Danny Rojas. That's your name for either if you choose male or female. And I chose the female route, just because I'd read that the story was a little bit more fleshed out with the female character. And so the game starts out where you're trying to escape this country on a boat with some friends, because the dictator Anton Castillo has ordered that nobody leaves the island, and that's what it is, an island. And you long story short, your boat's blown up and you wash ashore and you're rescued by this guerrilla group, Libertad, who is trying to overthrow Anton Castillo in the name of freedom. And so you get wrapped up in fighting, and you're an ex-military person, and so the game doesn't just hand you a gun and, you know, all of a sudden you're a badass, but there is some backstory, and you if you've ever played a Far Cry game, the gameplay is the same. It's very similar. I'm noticing this one is a little bit different as far as the map. Essentially it's a huge map made up of smaller islands, and you're trying to garner support for the guerrilla group in attempts to overthrow the government. And so, bit by bit and island by island, you're winning people to the cause. And there's kooky characters along the way. I'm only maybe 10 hours in, but it's great. The Far Cry games are great. They're mindless shooter games that don't require a ton of skill. But it's a mix between the gameplay and the story that really allows these games to excel, and Far Cry 6 is no different. And so I'm playing on the PS5, and it looks great. It has awesome visuals. Right now I have an alligator companion that I can sick on military dudes, and that's comical to watch, and it's comical their reaction when they're getting their arms ripped off. But I can easily see myself in this game for 30 to 50 hours. So I'll likely be playing this up in, for the next month. But if you have the chance, I recommend it so far. If you have the ability to check it out, do so. So that's it. That's all I've been playing. And so, much like these episodes are, this is another shorter one, meant to move you through your lunchtime eating adventures without going on too long. And so if you'd like to get in contact with us, you can find us on all your social media platforms at Budget Arcade. Some of them are at Budget Arcade Podcast. We have a Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Find us all over the place. We also have a Discord. You can join our Discord via the link in the show notes. We have a pretty good group of gamers where we talk all things. And, when you're, was it Applebee's or is it Olive Garden? But when you're in the Discord, you're family, much like Applebee's or Olive Garden, whichever restaurant that tagline is from. If you want to support the show, you can go to patreon.com/budgetarcade, and any donation you would like to make would be greatly appreciated. And with your donation, you get exclusive access to our Patreon channel and our Discord, where you and other Patreon subscribers get to talk all things unfiltered and uncensored with me, Scott, and Jeff, and anybody else you've probably heard on this podcast. And so, that's it, I think. Next week we're playing Cookie Run Kingdom, I think it's castle build RPG. So download that, leave us some commentary in our Discord channel, and you might get your commentary read on the show. So join us next week as we play Cookie Run Kingdom. Our music is provided by Stimage. You can find his music at metroidmetal.com. And we'll see you next week.
Across the country, hate crimes are on the rise by more than 25% in the last 5 years. The good news is there's something you can do about it right here in your community. If you witness or experience a hate crime, you're not alone, and the FBI is here to help and committed to justice. Report hate crimes at 1-800-CALL-FBI or tips.fbi.gov. Protecting our communities together. Report hate crimes.
'Tis the season for those irresistible ginger thins, cozy blankets for cuddling by the fire and making home warm and welcoming. For one-stop holiday shopping, visit your local IKEA or ikea-usa.com/holiday.